Hey everyone, and welcome to Music Mondays, my weekly music spotlight. Now, this week we're going to do a spotlight on not one, but three different things. And you can let me know in the comments if you prefer it this way or this is just too much for me. Now, the first thing that we're going to start off with is probably the best single track that I've heard so far in 2017. And it was something that was linked to me on the Discord. And it is Last Breath by Yaeji. Which was released this year in 2017. Now, this is sort of like house music as a Korean makeup tutorial. So my sort of touch points or references for this particular single are kind of like the hypnotic kind of house tones of Royce and Murphy's Exploitation mixed with interestingly weird detuned vocals, and it's just a really, really cool track. So I've linked the music video in the description of this video. Go check it out because it is just incredible. Also, the actual track itself is available for free download on SoundCloud, which I've linked in the description as well, so have a listen. The next thing I want to talk about is also another album from 2017 that was just released. It is Antisocialites by Alvvays. Now, I was a big fan of the previous album from Alvvays, their self-titled album. And this one is more of the same kind of indie pop sound, and it's sort of like feel-good music that is only sort of feel-good if you don't look too closely at the lyrics, I guess you could say. But it's just really, I hesitate to say easy to listen to stuff because that makes it sound like it's not particularly complex. This time around with this album, the last album was a little more sparse in production. This one I felt like the vocals taking a little bit more of a backseat and being drenched in with this kind of reverb and rhythm guitar, all of this kind of melding into this indie pop dream kind of haze, which is really cool because a lot of interesting stuff is going on in the background of this album. So check it out. I've linked to the band's Bandcamp where you can buy the album and also stream and have a listen to it before you do that. So check that out. The last album that I want to talk about was not actually chosen by me. So we have this thing on the server called Album Club, and it's sort of like a book club but for music. And the way it works is that once a week, someone on the server picks out an album and then we all have a listen to it. And it's just a nice way to be introduced to some music and have a little bit of discussion about it. And big props to Drumline 1997, who has stepped up to sort of chair the album club. So the album that Drumline 1997 has chosen for this week is the album Bags and Trane by Milt Johnson and John Coltrane. So I put this album on in the car and I quite liked it. But the thing is with jazz, for me, it's, and this sort of goes back to when I was in talking about the Echo Chrome 2 soundtrack and talking about music that you listen to versus music that you listen with. Jazz for me is it's music that you listen with, and for me it's extreme to the point where it's kind of this thing where I will put on a jazz album and the first 5 minutes I'll be like, yeah, I'm getting into this, like I'm feeling the sort of like free rhythms and the way it sort of meanders around, but then it'll be like 40 minutes later and I'll just be like, what did I just listen to for 40 minutes? Like it'll just go back deep into my mind, and then I'll find that I'm no longer consciously listening. And for me, my impression of jazz is always like, I imagine this dad going like, oh, you just gotta listen to the piano solo from this dude here. It's just beautiful. And I don't know, for some reason I find it difficult to sort of, without some sort of vocal melody kind of gelling it all together, or not even necessarily vocal, but some kind of main melody line, I just kind of get lost in it. And I don't know if that's like something I'm doing wrong or whatever. Let me know. I guess there's no wrong way to listen to music, but I'd be keen to hear your experiences with jazz or other kinds of music and how you kind of listen actively versus passively with it, I guess you could say. Anyway, I hope you check out this music. Let me know what you think, as always, and I'll see you next week for next week's Music Mondays. Bye!